New World have officially released their response in the form of a blog post regarding the recent outrage, all of the mass negative backlash concerning their announcement that they had introduced the cash shop into their alpha test. Now, taking a look at the official New World subreddit, there are plenty of people that are happy with this response. However, at the same time, looking at the MMORPG subreddit, there are a lot of people that are upset with this response. Now, this was posted today. Greetings, adventurers. We are releasing our in-game store today for alpha players to test content and provide feedback in preparation for our August 31st launch. The store will allow in-game purchases for cosmetic items outside of our deluxe edition and pre-order bonuses. We have received a lot of feedback already, a lot of which was negative, and believe it is important to make the store visible now for players to experience and test directly. Now, for those of you that weren't aware, the outrage actually came from them revealing that the cash shop is not going to offer cosmetic exclusive items like we were led to believe initially. Instead, they were going to provide quality of life improvement items and items such as XP boosts and trade skill boosts that were going to very drastically affect the in-game economy and provide an advantage to people that would purchase those who had the money to via the cash shop. Items in the store during the alpha will be purely cosmetic and provide no gameplay advantages. As the game evolves, we may add new categories of store items based on our players' desires. We may make mistakes, which is why we're testing and engaging with our community to solicit feedback. The alpha store test will include an example skin, an emote, and dyes. These are not the exact items that we will sell when live, but give you an idea of the type and flavor. So they go on to state that there will be no gameplay advantages and it will be purely cosmetic in the alpha. However, and this is where I feel like the concern is warranted, they state as the game evolves, we may add new categories of store items based on our players' desires, which means that they heard what players said and they saw players' concerns, and their response to this was, we're sorry, we're going to remove them from the cash shop for now, but if you guys want these in the future, we will totally go ahead and we will acquiesce to that request. Then, instead of saying we're sorry for implementing these items into the cash shop and not really knowing what we're doing, they go on to state that we may make mistakes, which is why we're testing and engaging with our community to solicit feedback. And that makes perfect sense. This is a test phase. They are going to make plenty of mistakes, but instead of outright saying that this was a mistake, they're just saying that they will make mistakes. That is a half-assed way of kind of getting around apologizing and admitting fault. We think it is important to share the goals behind our in-game store design so our players can understand our intent and to establish a foundation for open dialogue on this topic. Our plan for having an in-game store is to create an outlet for players who find enough value in store items that they are happy to purchase them. Our plan is not and never will be to create a feeling that store items are necessary to enjoy or to compete in the game. We have three main goals for the in-game store. Empower expressive personalization. The cosmetic items sold in New World are built to provide additional opportunities for players to shape their characters. Releases will showcase new dyes, apparel, and weapon skins for players to customize their character, as well as themed decorative furnishings and additional house pets players can purchase. Cosmetic items will not provide any perks or boosts to stats, which is good. I really hate when you get into an MMO and then you learn that there are outfits in the game that boost statistics, because as a free player, you're never going to have access to them. While the in-game store will provide additional opportunities for customization and feature unique cosmetic items, there is a wealth of visually diverse in-game loot for players to discover and earn across Eternum at the same level of aesthetic quality with items found in the store. Our goal is not to make the cosmetics offered in store better, but different than existing gear. We understand players work hard to get their gear and have no intention of diminishing the value of their favorite pieces. Often, the store items are additive for role players and players who like to change their appearance frequently. Below are some examples of gear found in-game versus purchasable in our store. And you know what? These character models and these armor sets actually remind me quite heavily of the Fable franchise, which I am a big fan of. At launch, we will offer themed cosmetic items across a variety of categories visually on par with our in-game gear, such as themed apparel and weapon skins, themed skins that can be applied to existing apparel or weapons to change their visual style, housing decor and house pets, decorative home furnishings, and fun pets for your home, emotes, new ways for you to express yourself through dance, gestures, and other unique animations, dye packs. While many vibrant pigments are available to harvest to create dyes, additional colors will be available in the store, and company crests, which are new designs that will be available in the store to personalize your company's insignia. We won't consider selling anything other than cosmetic items until 2022 at the earliest. And there we go. That right there is even more concerning than what they said above. They go on to state here, we will not consider selling anything other than cosmetic items until 2021 at the earliest. So the game is launching August 31st. That means September, October, November, December, there will be exclusively cosmetic items within the cash shop. Now, depending on quote unquote here, player desire, they will add in new items that are going to potentially drastically affect the game. They could opt to, once again, include XP boosts, trade skill boosts, anything that could potentially ruin the in-game economy, anything that could go on to provide players an unfair advantage. But then at the same time, players on the New World subreddit are claiming that once the game has released, are XP boosts even really an issue? Are they going to provide players an advantage, knowing full well that players have already been in the game for 4 months, 5 months up until that point? At that point, after the game has been online for almost half a year and no new servers are opened, is it really providing players with an advantage, or is it more or less just providing players the option to catch up? See, I can understand that being offered and that allowing for players to catch up to players that are already at endgame, but what I am most concerned with is that they do not have a soft limitation on what they plan on adding. Rather, they just go on to kind of vaguely state that they are going to potentially offer non-cosmetic items next year. And that could be literally anything. Maintain a level playing field. The in-game store content will not give players an advantage in PvE or PvP gameplay. Our goal is to not provide anything that players find to be pay to win for in-game store offers. No items in the store will give players instant lifts to their overall gear score, experience points, or impact territory control. No item in the store is a gate to experiencing game mechanics. Players should never feel that they have to spend additional money to experience New World once they've purchased the game, as the purchase you pay at launch lets you play the entire released game. And that is good, but again, they went on to note at the beginning that there are going to be no boosts or anything other than cosmetic items in the cash shop initially, so it stands to reason that there would be nothing that would provide an advantage in the cash shop. Embrace veterans and welcome new arrivals. While a tournament will be full of veteran players, we anticipate new players landing on its shores for years to come. While after launch, we'll consider ideas for items that influence mechanics like rested XP, both through the store and earned in game. So they go on to state here that they will provide items that, as an example here, boost your XP through both the store, and they will make it available in game as well. This would allow late to the game players entering a tournament to catch up at a pace most comfortable to them and fight alongside their friends in endgame content, while not creating a pay-to-win environment. The more players that are able to experience endgame content and participate in endgame modes, the healthier the game experience will be. The timing on when we release any sort of boost would depend on player sentiment, feedback, and how we see new players progressing through the game well after launch. If we decide to implement these types of items, they will also be obtainable through in-game methods. So anything that would provide boosts to players that are going to be purchasable via the cash shop are going to be available to players in-game as well. Looking ahead, heading towards launch, we are excited to test the functionality of our store and receive feedback on the items sold within it from our alpha community. Data from the alpha tests, as well as the feedback from the testers themselves, will be studied closely, and tuning will be done to the store and content as we prepare for launch. The launch of New World is just the start. We plan to consistently ship game updates with new content drops for years to come. We hope you'll join us on the shores of Eternum when New World releases on August 31st. Thanks again for all your help and support. Now, this was honestly definitely a necessary response. Players were absolutely livid over the reveal that there were going to be boosts available within the cash shop that provided any type of advantage, considering this is going to require a purchase. See, as a free-to-play game, if you launch a game and you don't require anyone to pay any money for it, and then you go ahead and introduce advantages for paying customers, then people that are playing for free really have no room to complain because they didn't pay anything, and therefore the only thing that they invested into the game was their time. Now, in this instance, everyone is paying $49, $69, $89 for the game, and they should all start at the same point. There should be no advantage for someone that pays more, other than something like a cosmetic alteration to their gear, or something like a pet that doesn't affect anything in game. And it looks as though that is what they're aiming to include, but that is only for the first 4 months of the game's life, because after that, at any point in 2022, they plan on introducing a surplus of new items to the cash shop, and that is probably the most concerning thing to me. Now, I guess none of us can really say how pay to win this is going to be, or how much of an advantage people are going to be able to pay for come 2022, but at least at present, this is kind of a response that we all needed to hear, and this gives us an idea of how Amazon are going to go about handling issues like this currently, issues like this in the future, and generally what we can expect of the game. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think though. If you guys think that it is acceptable for them to release XP boosts and trade skill boosts and other items that affect the player and their journey through the game months after the game releases, when a lot of the community is already and has already been at endgame for a while. And let's talk about it. Anyway guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you guys next time.
Someday soon I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh,